Okay, I'm Aly,
And I'm Melissa.
and welcome to Liverpool, USA. We're best friends, and this is a best friends podcast.
Yes, it is. And today, what are we talking about, Allie?
We're talking about concerts, which is a topic I know we can talk for hours about.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what I did immediately when we met, was just talk for hours about concerts.
But that's true. Yeah, I like as we mentioned in our origin story episode, our friendship was really founded on like a shared love of music, specifically the same type of music. And I would say our friendship really formed through like going to concerts together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Traveling England to see concerts,
Hmm.
specifically.
Yeah. We were in England for like 5 months, six
Four
months
months, I
almost.
think. I think it was
Four
4 months,
months.
yeah.
Wow, it feels longer than that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was,
What I wrote in the notes was 6 months, but it was actually 4.5 months.
or
The first
five
four
or
and a
something,
half,
yeah.
yeah, the first 4.5 months of our friendship, we went to 9 concerts together.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of concerts.
Yeah, in that span of time, that's a lot. We were going to concerts
Yeah.
all the time, but it was super easy in York because
Yeah.
there were so many little music venues. And,
Hmm.
so it's not like we had to spend a ton of money, to go to arena shows or anything. There were just a lot of little venues around. And then there also happened to be a few bands playing around there that we actually knew as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, like the Wonder Years, 30 Seconds to
Yeah.
Mars. Although that was in Manchester, that was kind of a big deal. Bare
Yeah.
Naked
Yeah.
Ladies.
Oh, that was a good show.
It was.
Yeah, we saw a lot of really good shows in England together, and that was what we did. Like we just went to concerts. That's what we spent all of our money on. But yeah, so that's how our friendship really started, was seeing all these concerts together. And since then, in the years after that, we still have gone to a lot of concerts together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of
Um,
course, we took a big, huge, long break,
yeah,
as you all know, which was so weird for me. I realized that, because I think it was definitely over a year between concerts.
yeah,
My last concert and then my first concert after pandemic shutdowns. And it had been since I don't think it'd been that long since I'd been to a concert, literally since before high school, I think.
yeah,
Like at least one, concert in the years. But
yeah.
yeah, it
I
was
think me
very
too.
strange. Yeah.
Maybe, well, I didn't really go to concerts in high school because I lived in Southern Oregon, which is far away from
Mm.
venues. So I didn't get to go to concerts in high school. But once college started, I was going to concerts a
Yeah, it's a
lot.
lot more convenient living near Portland.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that our last concert before the pandemic was the same concert, was when we saw Boston Manor and Heart Attack Man. And that was like
Yeah.
December, I don't know,
It was like
9th or
December,
something.
yeah, 11th or something like that. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
earlier December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my first concert back after the pandemic was September 9th of
Yeah.
2021.
And mine
So,
was actually August 18th. I saw Primus play
mm.
Rush songs in Bend. And
Oh
that was a
yeah.
little bit, yeah, like I wasn't really planning on doing that. And then I was in Bend for a while with Justin. And I was like, oh, this concert's happening and it would be like kind of cool, but I don't know. Cause it still felt really weird, to like
Hmm.
intentionally be in a crowd of people, but it was outside and it was a cool opportunity. So I ended up going and it was super
Yeah.
cool. And it was still so familiar, of course. I mean, just
Hmm.
because I hadn't been to a concert in so long doesn't mean that I'm going to forget what it's like to be at a concert. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was. And then I went after that to throughout August and then once this month, like a few more outside concerts
Yeah.
that were more like just in bands, so they weren't like I didn't know a ton. So I
Mhm.
almost consider my first like real concert back the Front Bottoms at the Roseland, which
Yeah.
it's not my actual, first concert back, but it was the first like inside, like I was so like pumped in a way that you can only be when you're in a like smaller venue and it's closed in, and a lot of the words to a lot of the songs, and everyone else there knows, like all the words to all the songs, and it just
Yeah.
had really specific vibes that were missing for me from like the other first shows that I saw, that made me really
Yeah.
feel like, oh, this is what I have been missing for the past,
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
My first concert back after the pandemic was the Hella Mega tour, which
Oh
was
my
outside.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, I think I was missing a little bit because it was the hugest arena
Oh, I
show I've
can't
ever been
even.
to.
I remember seeing maps for that. Because isn't
Yeah,
it like the Mariners baseball field?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's absolutely massive.
yeah, it's huge, and we had
Yeah.
really good seats, but we were still like very far away from the
Mm-hmm.
stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like seats, and it was all outside. And so I also felt like kind of weird vibes about being in like a huge crowd like that again.
Yeah.
Um,
It still feels so weird. But I just have
it
to
does.
be, like, oh, at least at the concerts that I've been to, people were really good about wearing their masks. You had to be like vaccinated or have the negative test thing. So it's not like we were just thrown in there with no assurance that people were at least trying to be careful. But
Yeah,
it still feels weird though.
yeah, yeah. And so since I think that really like I guess influenced the way I felt about like being back at a concert. Like at the Hella Mega tour, it was absolutely massive. And I was definitely like I had the ability to not be super super close to like the people around me, because it was like seats, so you're not like touching bodies the way, other concerts might be. So it was different. It was a different experience because I was just like, you know, listening to the music like myself, like it wasn't as much of like a communal experience the way sometimes concerts are, like you were
Oh
saying, where
yeah.
everyone like knows the words and we're all like
Mhm.
jumping around together kind of thing. Yeah, so I saw that, and then my second concert back after that, the Hell Mega Tour, was the Front Bottoms with you. And that really to me felt like, oh, this is like what I used to do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to just like say what type of music we listen to and like what type of concerts we go to. Just for context, I think that's important a little bit.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of different, concerts. And I
Yeah.
love live music in all of its forms, honestly. I would watch any
Yeah.
type of music live because I think that specifically well, in my personal opinion, I think that music is meant to be played live. I think that that's its
Yeah.
most highest quality form is live. Um
Yeah.
But yeah, I would vaguely describe my music taste as guitar driven, although sometimes I
Hmm.
listen to stuff that's not specifically guitar driven, but that's what I prefer. And like rock and subgenres of rock, I like a lot of that emo stuff, like modern pop punk stuff. Yeah, I think that mostly encompasses that's most of the type of music that I enjoy
Yeah.
listening to live and not live. So, yeah.
Yeah. I would say I am pretty much in the same boat. Our music taste is a very similar.
It
And then
overlaps a
we
lot, yeah.
it does, yeah. I agree. Like I'm definitely very into a lot of that emo, a lot of that pop punk, a lot of rock in general, some harder rock, some more pop rock. And
Yeah.
I would say I listen to more pop music than you do. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I think you go a little bit more pop and acoustic than I do
yeah.
in some ways sometimes, and I think sometimes I go a little bit more maybe metal, you could say, than you. Like
Yeah.
those influences in some of the music that I enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. Um but
But a
yeah, so
lot of
like that's
overlap.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the type of concerts we're talking about is
Mhm.
a lot of rock concerts, I guess,
Yeah, and a
broadly.
lot of smaller venue concerts. I've,
Yeah.
we've been to our fair share of arena shows, but I would say that most of
Yeah.
the concerts are definitely in smaller venues.
Definitely. And that's what I like better, I've
Yeah,
found.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. I do enjoy having seats sometimes and not having to worry about being in a crowd, but
Yeah.
I still enjoy, being in the crowd. And there's just a specific energy that happens in a crowd of people. One of the things that I enjoy the most about being in like general admission pits with people is
Mhm.
even though you're surrounded by people and oftentimes very tight fitting in there,
Mhm.
no one is paying attention to you specifically. And,
Yeah.
like no one, unless you're being, overtly weird or whatever,
Yeah.
everyone is paying attention to the band that's in front of them. They're not paying attention to you. And all
Yeah.
that energy is coming from the band and then, the crowd towards the band. All of it's going like towards the stage. And then everyone kind of gets this, similar, I don't know. There's just this energy that like happens when you're all close together and there's a band on the stage that everyone's enjoying and you're all, jumping up and down and singing. And it's, yeah, it's like people aren't paying attention to each other. They're not facing each other, but they're still sharing something that is, very similar and personal, but kind of all at once. I don't know. I don't think that maybe that didn't make any sense, but
No, it did.
yeah.
It did. No, I kind of I wrote something a little while ago where I was talking about what it feels like to sit alone in a really crowded like bar or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're alone but you're not alone. You know, you're like in your own like world of paying attention to your own thing and your own thoughts. But like there's so much happening around you that you're like part of also.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of similar to how I feel when I'm like in a pit is I'm like
Yeah.
experiencing the music in my own thoughts in my own head like like it's too loud to like talk to other people,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're still like all part of that together.
Yeah. Yeah, you're all separate together. Sort
Yeah.
of thing. You're all experiencing the same thing, but you're experiencing it in a slightly different way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I I found that the best concert experiences I've had are when that feeling is at its peak.
Yeah. And when I'm on the barricade,
Yeah, yeah.
I do and I can enjoy being more in the middle of a crowd, but I think that my fondest concert memories come from being in a general admission pit up against the barricade.
Me too. I think
Yeah.
partly because I'm short. I mean, you're taller
Yeah.
than me, but you're also
I'm
short.
also, yeah.
So, like, I simply cannot see if I'm
Mhm.
not the barricade. Like, if literally a single person is standing in front of me, I lose
Yeah,
an
yeah.
amount of being able to see.
Which is another thing that could be nice about having seats.
Yeah,
Is
that's
usually
true.
you can see, especially if you're in seats, because a lot of arenas have seats just kind of on the floor, but especially if you're in the
Hmm.
ones that are kind of off to the side at an angle, then
Yeah,
you're kind of guaranteed to see unless the person in front of you is just like weirdly tall or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about our like best concert experiences?
Oh, I've written, I don't know if I could find it now. It's kind of lost on the internet, but
Mm.
I wrote a little, it's not even just an essay, it was kind of an interactive essay because it was
Mm.
online and we made a collage. I made a collage of like physically made a collage of, it had like concert tickets and like a GA pit
Aw.
wristband and like pictures and set lists and stuff like that. And I made a little collage. I put them all together, and then I took a picture and then uploaded it. And then what we did was wrote little, just like little bitty essays that have to like of some sort of memory and
Oh, I
from
think
a
you've shown
concert.
that to
Yeah.
me before. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you clicked on, like the set list for this concert, then it would take you to a memory from that concert, and you clicked on, like the wristband for this concert, and so on. And I had like a 3 days grace memory in there. I don't remember all of them specifically, but that was really cool. And that has some good
Yeah.
memories. Man, I have so many. Sitting on my good friend Brennan's shoulders at all time low is a
Mm.
really good memory for me because it's the first and only time I've ever done that at a concert, and it was just such a really specifically cool feeling to
Yeah.
be higher than everybody else and like see
Mhm.
above everything, and so that was really cool. Um I the times that I have I'm just trying to think of like stuff that stands out.
Yeah.
The times that I have felt the most just emotional enough to cry. I think
Yeah.
the first time I cried at a concert was actually Breaking Benjamin, but it wasn't
Mm.
like a lot. And then the two times that I've seen the 1975, I cried like tears. The first
That's a
time
little bit surprising to me. I
well,
mean, I like the 1975 a lot, but I like
yeah.
their music doesn't hit me in like the emotions like that.
They have some songs. What was it? I don't remember if it was the one the second time, but the first time it was probably a song called Me. And
Mm.
it is very, if you listen to the music, it's very sad. It's very
Yeah.
melancholy. But and just like the vibes are very, like depressing kind of. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the first time I cried actual tears. The second time I saw the 1975, I straight up bawled. I was crying, and I don't even remember, it could have been the same song. I don't even really
Wow.
remember what song it was, but it was really only one song. It wasn't like the whole
Mm.
concert or anything, but I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so they do a really good job of wrangling in the crowd, and uh, I can't think of the right word. It's not quite, hypnotizing, but something like that.
Yeah.
Just making everyone feel like you're part of this experience. And
Mhm.
so I didn't care what the other people around me were doing or thinking, or if they would even notice me or whatever, because no one was, because we were all so enraptured by the music, and so it
Yeah.
just created a really good environment for me to just cry, I guess.
I get yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember what was happening at the time. There could have been like other things happening at the
Yeah.
time that I was already emotional about, and then it was just like a good time for me to just kind of like let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh my god, I still haven't crowd surfed, so I don't have a story about that.
Yeah.
um Being on the
I
stage at Breaking Benjamin. Sorry,
oh
I can
yeah.
keep going. I can keep
No, I know.
going.
I know. I know. That's why I'm like I'm going to have to just interrupt you.
Yeah.
Um, no, those are all great memories. I like my favorite I have two that immediately come to mind. Both of them you were also at these concerts.
Oh yeah.
Um one of them was when we saw the Wonder Years
Oh yes.
in Leeds. That is I think maybe my favorite concert I've ever been to.
Yeah.
There was just we were on the barricade, first of
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
Second of all, the Wonder Years did an acoustic set and an electric set, which was iconic. Because we just got to hear so many songs, and like I am such a sucker for a good like acoustic set.
Yeah, yeah, you really
Like
are.
there's just yeah, I know.
I get it
Uh,
though. I get
yeah,
it.
and I remember so like just like the whole concert was amazing because we were so close, and like the music was so good. But I also specifically remember at the very last song that he played before the encore was The Ocean Grew Hands to Hold Me. And that song makes me emotional like in a lot of ways.
Just thinking about it
Yeah, I
makes
know.
me
I know.
emotional.
I know.
Yeah.
But we were in England at the time, and this was like in April, so we were, you know, on the last like little bit of England.
Yeah, we only
And
had less than a month. Like
yeah,
we did not have very long there.
no.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
We had been
I would
friends
say
now
we
for
were,
a while. We were pretty
yes,
established. Yeah.
we were, yes. And I remember when the Ocean Grew Hands to Hold Me was playing, um like the very last line of the song that he sings is, I miss everyone at once, but most of all I miss the ocean. And like for some, like I'd heard the song before, but we saw them right after that album came out, like a couple, like literally like a week after that
Yeah,
album
it
came
was the
out.
tour for the album, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'd only heard that song like, you know, a certain number of times because the album had only come out like the week before. And so I had heard that line before, but there was something about all of the emotion of being away from home and being away from the ocean and like finding, you know, a new friend, and like somehow we ended up like at this concert in the front row, like all of this, you know, like it all caught up to me at once, and that's the most emotional I've ever been at a concert, I think.
Yeah. I'm kind of remembering it as you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that sucks for me is I really don't have that good of a memory. So I'm trying to,
Mm.
keep, which is why I like at most concerts, unless I just can't. There are concerts where you just can't get to your phone, you can't get out of your pocket.
Yeah.
There are too many people, it's too tight.
Yeah.
Give it up. But I I usually try to take at least like a couple pictures, like two.
Yeah.
And then like at least one like good one that has like the whole band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like to get, if I can, one just kind of short video of something.
Yeah.
Um just so, because I do agree that if you know, like don't take your phone out the whole time or whatever, I honestly think that that's the best way to do a concert, is to completely be, off everything and completely be there. But at the same time, I also understand why you would want to take some pictures and some video,
Yeah.
especially for me because I don't remember things very well. I don't feel like I
Yeah.
should write more. I have written about concerts and I should do that more. But
Yeah.
that's why I'm glad I kind of have these like pictures and videos, because I do go back and look at them sometimes, and and then I'll remember more, just with like one little bit of, a picture or video, and I'll be like, that's, I
Yeah.
remember that. Or like you telling that story, like
Yeah.
help me remember that too. Yeah.
I do have a video of that exact moment, and I
Oh
remember because
yeah.
I was taking a video of it, and then I like forgot kind of that I was taking a video of it
Yeah.
like while I was doing it, and I just like
Uh-huh.
started crying, you know.
Oh.
Um
Yeah.
but yeah, I have, you can't like hear it or anything, but I know. I
Mhm.
know I was crying behind
Yeah.
the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's the most emotional I've ever been at a concert, and the most like, I guess, good emotional response feeling in a
Yeah.
concert, and that
Yeah.
that made that concert one of my favorites. The other experience that is one of my favorites, and I remember thinking it was amazing like when it happened, but I think looking back it's even more cool, I don't know. And it's when we saw Lower Than Atlantis. I feel like you knew I was going to say this, but because I
This is
like,
yeah, this is a
I kind
standout
of don't
moment.
shut up about this.
Yeah.
But I want to tell this story too. But we saw Lower Than Atlantis. And we actually went because of Boston Manor. They were opening. Um
Yeah, I knew Boss. I remember when I first got to England, and
mhm.
I one of the first things that I did was look up concerts. Well, actually, I looked up
Yeah.
concerts before I got to England, which is why I knew about 30 Seconds to Mars, but I hadn't
Yeah.
bought tickets yet because I didn't want to go alone. So there
Yeah.
was a bunch. I just basically had a list that I was like, if I
Yeah.
find someone, these are the concerts I want to go to. And when I got to York, I looked up York concerts and York concert venues, and the only bands that I recognized was the Lower Than Atlantis and Boston Manor show. And I had heard of Lower Than Atlantis, but I don't think I really knew anything by them, but I did know
Yeah.
Boston Manor. And so I
I
was
was
like,
the other way
okay,
around.
oh,
I
okay.
knew Lower Than Atlantis. Like not a ton, but I like
Yeah.
vague, like I knew them, and I knew like a couple of songs
Mm.
by them, and I didn't really know Boston Manor.
Yeah.
And like I listened to them, I think before we went, because that was like our last concert that we went to in England.
It was literally maybe 3 days before we left. It
Yeah.
was it was like the last second. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to that concert, and Boston Manor, amazing, great. And then Lower Than Atlantis came on, and I don't know, it was like it was really like an aggressive crowd. The crowd was really crazy.
It was definitely the most aggressive crowd that we were in the whole time we were in England. It was a grand
Definitely.
finale.
It absolutely was. And I remember Mike Deuce, the lead singer of Lower Than Atlantis, like made us do a wall of death once. And I remember him being like, crowd split up, and so then we did, and we were like on the
wall. Except
yeah,
it was kind of good. Well, one, you got behind me immediately
because I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, go in front of me.
I have to be like the strong person at concerts, which is fine, whatever. But
that's our dynamic, okay?
Yeah. But one of the things that ended up being fine about that is we were like on the barricade, and so we just kind of like backed up a little bit, but then when it happened, we just kind of like went back to the barricade. Like we didn't have to be like slamming into anyone in the wall, so it could have been a lot more dramatic. But
it could have, but the standout moment of that concert for me is when Mike Deuce just grabbed his acoustic guitar, he unplugged it, and stepped down into the crowd, no microphone. And we were at Fibbers, which was like a tiny venue in York. And so he got down into the crowd, into the middle, and he told everybody to sit down on the ground. Which is gross. And the ground was disgusting. There were like puddles of beer on the ground.
And some people did. The people like on the very inside of the circle, they sat. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Well, if we hadn't been at the barricade, we would have had to sit down too.
Yeah, that's true. Because there was no one behind us. So,
yeah. I remember at some point that night, I don't remember if it was before or after this, I got an entire beer spilled on me. You remember that?
I kind of do. Yeah. Oh,
I
mean, this is an opinion and a little bit of like a digression, but don't drink beer in the pit.
Don't simply.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna spill it.
Yeah.
You're gonna spill it, and nobody wants. You're too close.
Yeah.
To
have a glass of beverage. Yeah. Anyway.
It's like so full too. Like
I know.
At least I don't know. Yeah. Anyways. So there were like puddles of beer on the floor. He makes everybody sit down. We were at the barricade, so we kind of just still stood up. But like everyone around us was sitting down. And he played another sad song, which is a song by Lower Than Atlantis. Completely acoustically, no mic, while everyone just like sat, and everyone kind of sang along, but it was like so I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it was like it was in such contrast to like everything else that had been happening, because
it was like quiet compared to everything. You know, we had an acoustic guitar and people's voices. There was no flashy lights, there was nothing plugged in, there was no speakers.
And that moment, I mean, that song is really sad. That song gets to me in a lot of ways, like anyways. But then just to, again, it was sort of like a zoom out and like look at what I'm doing right now. Like I'm at this concert, and like this moment is happening, and like this is special. And I remember thinking that moment was really cool at the time, but it wasn't like, oh my god, that's like the best concert moment I've ever experienced.
You didn't think it would be that defining in the moment. Yeah.
But I thought about that moment all the time. And then like about a year later, I think, not even actually, like 6 months later, because it was like the next fall, we found out that Lower Than Atlantis broke up, the band.
Yeah. You were I wasn't as attached to them as you were, and you were so heartbroken. I mean, you kind of still are.
Yeah. I love Lower Than Atlantis. And so I found out actually when they announced that they were breaking up, I looked like what their last shows were before they like stopped playing together and like broke up, and we saw the second to last show.
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
they did, like, after they announced that they were breaking up, they did, like, one more show
Yeah, like a fit.
somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like but that was like after they already knew that they were breaking up, kind
Wow,
of
but it
thing. Like
went so
our,
well.
I know,
There's not like there was tension or anything.
I know.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and so I like that moment is even more special to me now. I also have a Lower Than Atlantis pick. I got one of
Oh
his
yeah.
picks, and I in my memory, which this could be wrong, it was like right after that moment.
Yeah, I do not remember.
I remember him like getting back up to the stage and then throwing a pick out. And I know that I got a pick somehow, and I don't remember if it was that, but I think it was.
Mm.
Um and so yeah, I have a pick. I That moment was just really special. In retrospect, it's like very special because it was like one of the last like Lower Than Atlantis moments that ever existed at all. And like
Yeah.
so it was special to me, but then also special because it's like, that's never going to happen again. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not touring anymore. They don't make music anymore. So yeah, those are my two like I think most iconic concert moments in
Yeah.
terms of like what was like very meaningful to me.
Emotional. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I and of course I keep thinking of more.
Yeah.
Um I have to say the last time that I saw Rush, which
Yeah.
was in college, um and it was and I remember it super well because we were in like the fourth row in like the Moda Center.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, which is a big venue, and we
Wow.
were freaking right there up front.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
always spectacular. Um,
Yeah.
and Rush is a very, like, to me anyway, because my dad is like this, is a very, you sit there and you watch it and you enjoy it because there's so much, um, incredible musicianship happening on the stage that, like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to be in, like, a really tight crowd watching Rush. Like I have to
No.
like sit like that's a concert that you're meant to sit and listen.
And
Um
look at it. Yeah.
yeah, but on the opposite side of that, I also remembered that I wanted to say because it's a really good memory was when I saw Fiddler on Halloween
Yeah.
like a few years ago, which I would love to do more Halloween shows.
Yeah.
Um they played what was the song called? 5 to 9, I think.
Mm.
And before they played it, he was like, okay, right here in the middle, right here, there's going to be an all girl pit, only girls.
Oh, I
Like,
love that.
yeah. And I don't remember what he said, like if there are any boys, like punch them in the face or whatever. But he was like,
Yeah.
only girls. And I was with Justin at the time and we weren't even dating yet.
Yeah.
Um, and, uh, and he was a little bit nervous about concerts.
Yeah.
And he like didn't like he kind of didn't want to be alone, and
Yeah.
so they like were about to start and I look at him like can I do this, and he was like yeah, go do it. So I'm like okay, I don't have to worry about him, and I like took off into the like dove into this crowd, and the song is not very long. It's not
Yeah.
a very long song, and so it didn't last very long, but it was intense.
Yeah.
Like I've been in little mosh pits before for like a second. I've run just a
Yeah.
couple circles in like a
Mhm.
circle pit.
Mhm.
But I had never been in one like in one for like that
Yeah.
long. And
Yeah.
I didn't even have to I remember because you purposefully push on people. You push around on
Yeah.
people. And I remember thinking, okay, so I need to like push on people, because that's what you do. I didn't have to freaking do anything. I just like stood there and was rattled around, and
Yeah.
so, like, and it was a little bit scary. I remember there being a
Yeah.
moment where I'm like, oh my god, it's all girls, but this is like intense, and
Yeah.
but of course, I figured it out. I got control of myself, and I was having a really good time. It was like scary, but it
Yeah.
was actually super fun. And then the song ended, and immediately I was like, okay, I have to get out of here and like get back
Yeah.
to my at the time, friend. And
Yeah.
so I uh So I like squeezed through it, and I actually found him really fast, which I was thankful
Good.
for
Yeah.
because I was definitely disoriented, and I found him, and it was
Yeah.
so fun. I lost. I don't know if it was in the pit at that specific moment. It could have been though, but I had a little bow clip in my hair, and I lost it at that show.
Yeah.
Which whatever, it's
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't like a super important item or anything, but it was. I just remember that sometimes because it was like so intense.
Yeah.
But that was a big moment because that's super cool. I'd never
Yeah.
been to a show that did anything like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about crowd stuff, like
Crowd
crowd
stuff.
surfing,
Yeah.
pits,
I
like
definitely have some
moshing.
opinions. I think you mentioned
Yeah.
like a while ago how I wrote stuff about general admission concerts. I wrote like
Yeah.
advice for attending general admission concerts. And
Yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about it. It's on the
Yeah.
internet, but I don't really know. It's just advice. It's from my experience. It's my opinions.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to experience concerts a different way. Um but I do happen to have some pretty strong feelings about general admission crowds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go off,
because
queen.
it's important it's important for people to do what they want to do to have a good time, but at the same time if you're in a crowd tightly packed with people, and
Yeah.
I mentioned before, no one's paying attention to you, they're paying attention to the stage, but you still have to think about the people around you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how you might be affecting their experience as well,
Yeah.
like, don't throw your elbows around. Elbows are so annoying. Keep your elbows in, please.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Don't use people as armrests. Ugh.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
From short people, don't use people as armrests. Don't rest your camera on someone's head or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I remember
That's
that
pretty
when
bad.
that happened once. And I was like,
Why would you think?
yeah, no.
This isn't necessarily a crowd thing, but like I wrote it here, so I'm just gonna kind of like read a little bit, like pull from this thing that I have it pulled up,
Yeah.
my notes. Wear earplugs. Oh my gosh. If you go
Yeah.
to concerts regularly, even if you don't go to concerts regularly, wear earplugs. I remember learning that you don't know, like some people's ears are stronger than others and will lose
Mhm.
hearing slower than others, but there's no way to measure how strong your ears are. So you don't
Yeah.
know how much it takes for you to get hearing loss, and it's irreversible.
Yeah.
So wear earplugs. It doesn't make you look stupid.
Yeah.
Um, if you have long hair, pull it back.
Mhm.
I've had other people's hair like stuck in my earrings, in my
Yeah.
face, in my armpits.
Yeah.
And also it gets really hot in crowds. Even if it's freezing outside, it will I
Yeah.
mean, we just experienced that with the front bottoms. It was cold
Yeah.
outside. But when you
Yeah.
get in a crowd of people that's really tight, you're going to get warm. And
Yeah.
so I like to do a braid, a
Mhm.
French braid, because it's tight and it pulls it all back, but a ponytail or a bun, those aren't bad, but they can still kind of get, in other people's faces.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, a braid I think is for me the most comfortable like way to go.
Yeah.
Opinion on crowd surfing. Listen,
Yeah.
I support crowd surfing, and everyone has different opinions on this.
Yeah.
And everyone goes to concerts for different reasons. And some people love to crowd surf. My opinion is if you want to crowd surf, I think that you should one time during the show, not during a slow song,
Yes.
and then stop to
Yeah,
one
you
give
get
other
one time.
people, yeah, you get one time, give other people a chance, and then
Mhm.
also people go to shows, or at least this
Mhm.
is I go to shows to hear the music.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind, tightness and stuff like that, but with crowd surfing specifically, you have to be paying attention for a certain amount of time to something
Yeah.
that's not the music. And I want to
Yeah.
pay attention to the music, but I have to,
Yeah.
like lift this person, and sometimes that's difficult. And so if people are just
Yeah.
constantly crowd surfing, It makes
Especially
it
if it's
hard.
the same guy like 40
Yes.
times. I'm like, stop
Yes.
it. I don't want to touch your butt anymore. Go
Right?
away.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I
and I've
yeah, I
never
want
done it, and I would like to crowd surf, so I can't say
yeah.
that I don't think anyone should, because I would like to
Yeah.
try someday.
Yeah.
But if it's just incessant, like, you're ruining you have to consider other
Yeah.
people at some point.
Well, I like want to tell this story too. When we were, this was at our last concert before the pandemic, when we saw Boston Manor and Heart Attack
Yeah.
Man,
Which
and
was,
that
oh, it
crowd
was
was,
so much.
that's like, I think, the craziest crowd I've ever been in.
I've never been in a crowd with that many, well, and it wasn't just crowd surfers, it was people stage
It was
diving.
stage diving,
So,
and that's my
yeah.
thing. That's what I was gonna like say is we were up at the barricade at the beginning,
Yeah.
and you know the demographic of that show, there were a lot of like lanky boys, like lanky emo boys,
Mhm.
and they all wanted to stage dive and
Yeah.
crowd
And then
surf.
jump onto the crowd, which
Yeah,
is appropriate in
which
some instances, but you can
look,
see when you're up there.
yeah,
Yeah. Are these people equipped to catch me right
yeah, and if you
now?
look at like tiny me and you're like, wow, I'm a foot taller than her and weigh 100 pounds more than her, is it a good idea for me to jump directly onto her head?
Yeah.
Probably
Probably
not.
not. Yeah, you had to have some form of
Yeah, especially when it
consideration.
was like, okay, that guy like did it once and I kind of like was able to like,
Yeah.
figure it out, but then he did it again, and
Yeah.
I thought he would like learn his lesson and not like jump directly on me, and I like kind of couldn't tell like what he was about to do, and
Yeah.
he jumped directly on me and his foot hit my face.
Oh, I do remember
um
that.
and it kicked my glasses so hard that they not only fell off of my face down into the crowd, but also broke. Like my glasses broke, like the side was all like messed up.
Yeah,
And
I
like
remember
without
that.
my glasses, like I cannot see. Like I cannot see. Like I was not able to like get the like, also I just got kicked in the head.
Yeah.
So I like
So,
was disoriented.
yeah.
But like yeah, I cannot see without my glasses well enough to like get them from the floor with like all the people like
Mhm.
around. Plus I was worried like someone else is about to like jump on me again, but I cannot
Yeah.
see anything.
Yeah, and you're
Um
like down. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, that
Oh, that was
is
so
not
ridiculous.
fun.
That's the
That is not a
only
fun, good
yeah.
concert experience.
Yeah, I've been to, for context, I guess, I've been to just over 100 concerts in my life.
Yeah.
And that was the only show where I have ever decided I don't want to be up front anymore. I have to move to the back. And
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've been to a lot of shows. I've been to, I
Yeah.
think the wildest crowd I think that I've ever been in
Mhm.
would be Streetlight Manifesto.
Yeah.
Just because, and I've been to a few Streetlight shows, but I've been up on the barricade every time, and I don't know what's happening behind me. But whatever is happening behind me, I have left Streetlight shows with bruises on like my
Yeah.
rib cage from the barricade, from being pressed up against the barricade so hard. And
Yeah.
I've been to multiple shows with tight crowds, and that does not happen to me at any other type of show. So I don't know what's going on behind me.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. But I can handle that kind of stuff, moshing
Yeah.
and tightness, because you can still look at the music ahead
Yeah.
of you. My focus could still be on the band, but when there's
Yeah.
constant crowd surfing,
And
I'm not
stage
enjoying
diving,
the
yeah.
the music anymore. Because I have
No.
to pay attention to all these people who are,
And it
you
and
know,
I can get like hurt. Like I mean,
yeah,
getting like moshed around and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, you're getting like
bruises,
pushed around, but
whatever. Yeah.
you know, but like getting kicked in the head or
Yeah,
like a
that can
giant
cause like
man landing on your
long-term
neck.
damage.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, honestly, if that kick had landed differently, like that could have been really bad. Like it could have, like if it had like, it could have like broken my nose or something if like the
Yeah.
glasses had hit my nose, like,
Yeah.
luckily it didn't. Luckily, I mean, I had bruises. I had like black eyes from that.
Oh, yeah, I
Um
think I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they weren't like like it could have been worse for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Yeah.
But like, I mean, my glasses got kicked hard enough that I had bruises and broken glasses. And yeah, I think I am of the opinion that if you're going to crowd surf, I don't think you should be stage diving ever, unless it's very, very like,
unless Billy Joe Armstrong tells you to, because I know at
yeah.
Green Day concerts, because I've been to 2 on that one tour,
Yeah.
he had 2 people during the course
Yeah.
of the show come up on stage. 1 to help sing Longview, and 2
Yeah.
he let someone play a guitar and then he let them keep it, which was actually really cool.
He did that on the Hell Mega tour as well.
Oh, cool. I love that
Yeah.
that's a thing that they do. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he like makes people stage dive. Like he's like, okay, now
Yeah.
you have to run off the stage into the crowd. It's the only time it's allowed.
Yeah. No, if it's like clear and also crowd is like expecting it and like
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
also the
Also,
other
Green
thing
Day
about
crowds
the-
are thick.
Yeah,
This
that's the other
crowd
thing I was gonna say.
I remember going to the like we gave up and went to the back, and then we were like, wait a second,
There's
crowd's
nobody
not
here.
even big enough. Yeah, it was so
That
small.
was the issue. Is because yeah, it was like, okay, this one guy's about to jump, and there's like me and you and like a few other people.
That's it. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
and it was like,
God.
yeah, we cannot hold this like man up. Like
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion.
That's
about,
our big bold opinion on crowd surfing.
Is
Stage
yeah,
diving.
if there's like a tiny woman at the front and you just jump on her and break her glasses,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, I mean, just be considerate. Think about how can I have the best time and also make sure I'm not ruining a ton of other people's night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then I guess the next one would be and this really should be the number 1 rule because it really is the number 1 rule at any concert with crowds is if someone falls, pick them up. Stop everything that you're doing. If someone is on the ground, you have to stop and pick them up.
Yeah,
which is definitely the number 1 rule.
I know I've been to I can't remember if you were at this concert with me or not, but I've been at a few concerts where somebody has like passed out.
Oh, I've probably been to a concert where people pass out.
Yeah,
I just don't really remember.
One of them was at Warped Tour during 303's set, I think.
During 303? Oh no.
Yeah, but it was so hot. That was the issue.
Yeah.
Is it was like July in California and it was so hot and that crowd was like so big, and if you were in the middle of it, like you like couldn't get out if you were like too hot, and so she just like passed out, and then people were like, oh my God, and had to like pick her up and carry her out and get medical attention, which is like, obviously that was the right thing to do. But it's scary because there are kind of times when like that doesn't exactly happen right away, where someone's just like passing out or falling down or something, and then it's like, help them, please. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I've definitely seen, oh my gosh, I don't remember what show it was. I think it was a Warped Tour show. So it was just like super small at one of the stages. And I was right next to a mosh pit. And it wasn't super big, but it was like a handful of like some big guys.
Yeah.
And they were going at it. And I remember someone fell on the ground and literally every single one of them stopped in their tracks and helped this guy up and then immediately back into it. Like immediately back. Yeah. And I'm like, these guys, every single one of these guys knows what they're doing.
That is what we like to call punk rock, ladies.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I think those are like my biggest crowd points.
Yeah, all good points.
I mean, of course I could go on
Yeah.
about more crowd stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, there are people who just aren't expecting to be close. You know, if you're at a GA concert, especially if it's for, you know, a punk rock band or something, don't take your small child into it.
Yeah.
You know, these people are going, and there are people that I've seen at shows that obviously have never been to a show or have never been to a show in a pit like that and don't know that it's gonna get tight. People are gonna be touching you. And some people don't like that. So just, you know, you have to be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Concerts have a different set of rules than normal public spaces. Yeah. So you have to like be ready for that and also be like on your best behavior too, you know, like goes both ways.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could just keep talking. I don't know. We're at like maybe 50 minutes.
I know we probably need
But
to wrap up.
oh my gosh, we should have. Can we do a concerts part two? Like
I think we're
legitimately?
gonna have
I
to.
think we're
I
gonna have
think
to
we're
do a
gonna have to.
concerts part two.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
we could literally talk for another 3 hours about this.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, that was just like crowd etiquette. We can
Yeah.
talk about more memories. We can talk about concerts we want to see, concerts that we have
Yeah.
upcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well we will do concerts part 2 in the future.
Yes.
Yes. Should we do a Klosterman question or did we run out of time?
I feel like we could throw one in there as long as we don't
Okay.
drag it on. Do you have one that's maybe not too loaded?
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. I feel like last time it was pretty simple. We were like,
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, this one's long. I'm trying to find one that's not that long. Okay. Okay, yeah, here we go. Pulled this at random. Just is short. That was the only requirement that I did. Here we go. You are given a choice between 2 rewards. The first reward is to be twice as intelligent as you are right now. You'll be able to read twice as fast and remember twice as much. The size of your vocabulary will double, and you'll be able to solve intellectual problems with twice your current aptitude. The second reward is that you will never again feel sick, even when you are. And you can always be whatever weight you want, regardless of what you eat or how much you exercise or whatever. You can simply imagine the body you would like to have, and that's the body you'll have. So, which reward do you choose?
Probably the second one. The physical the
Yeah.
physical one. The
I
the
know.
mental one is tough because when you
Yeah.
said the like better memory, I was like, oof, I would do a lot to have a better memory. I really don't like how in
I
recent years my
also
memory has been failing me.
specifically know that something about you is how much you hate feeling sick.
Yeah? Do I? I don't. I feel gross all the time. And I think it's partly from, I'm stressed out quite often. I have a
Yeah.
lot of, anxieties and nervousness, and that affects, your digestive system. And and so I feel gross quite often. And so if I could not
Yeah.
feel gross,
Yeah.
that
And
would
I
be
know you have
nice.
like, a sensitive stomach, like in terms of like, I don't know, like too much sugar or like
Yeah,
too much caffeine or like
definitely.
anything like
Exactly.
that. So
Yeah.
I know that you would like to just be able
That
to
would be
like,
big if I didn't,
yeah.
yeah. And also, and I mean of course, in the society that we live in, my the way that I view myself physically of unfortunately matters to me. So to
Yeah.
to be able to not have to worry about that as much, um
Sure. Yeah.
but I kind of like would want limits though, because it's like, when do you stop? If you could be like whatever size you want or whatever, then I don't, it's like, when do you stop, and then you can like never be perfect. I don't know. That's kind of
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be a little bit sometimes I feel real dumb. So the first one's tempting if I could be. And
Yeah.
it would help my career if I had a even better vocabulary.
Yeah.
But then it
I
doesn't
think
feel genuine. I don't know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think I would probably choose the first one. Um I don't know, cuz like read twice as fast, remember twice as much. That is very appealing to me.
Yeah.
Um and I don't know because I don't know, the second thing is appealing to me, but I don't know. I think I don't know. This is like a whole thing and
It's tough. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to get into it right now. But like there's something about like I have a very complicated relationship with body image and also with like being sick.
Oh yeah.
Um
Yeah.
that that carries a lot of like extra baggage which
Uh-huh.
like some like part of me is like, "Oh yeah, I would love to like just get rid of it," but I also don't know if I don't know, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, maybe it could be important, like when you don't feel good, your body is telling you something. If you
Yeah.
didn't feel sick, then that would kind of be bad, and then the whole body image thing. Yeah, maybe it's like too risky.
Yeah.
to
That's kind of how
have.
I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like I know that like I've gained a lot of this is so cliche, but I've gained a lot of like strength and like, good like life experience, I guess, dealing with being like sick and dealing
Mm. Yeah.
with like body image stuff and like all that. I don't know, I feel like a lot of that has really like made me stronger and like better mentally to like deal with that kind of stuff. Because I've had to like go through a lot of like, health stuff and a lot of,
Yeah. It would maybe
eating
make
stuff
you feel
and
like, why was I strong the whole time when now I could not have to be,
yeah.
a sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, thank you, Chuck, for this.
Yeah.
Um
I guess maybe we're both picking the first one then. That's
yeah,
the preferred,
I
yeah,
think so.
maybe.
Although I don't know,
Bigger
anything
brain.
that's like you magically just change something about yourself. I'm always
Yeah,
like,
it's tough.
I don't know. I kind
Yeah.
of I think I like love myself enough at this point to be like, I don't know that I just would like snap of my fingers like change something really dramatically
Mm.
about myself. Anything.
Yeah. I don't, I still I think that maybe I would. There's I mean, like I said, even as something as simple as my memory,
Yeah.
if I could snap and make my memory better, I would, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
I guess
Well,
that's that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that was our first installment of talking about concerts.
Yeah.
And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.